This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
Welcome to Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the investigative journalism program, or IJP, where I ask the question, whatever happened to the pizza at McDonald's? I'm your host, Brian Thompson. This is the first of a new multi-part series that promises to be the most explosive chapter of my investigation to date. If you are one of the many listeners to this program who keep track of its release schedule on your wall or desk calendar, you may have noticed a gap in your tick marks for last week. This is because I did not produce a new episode of the show during that time. Instead, I traveled many miles on a journey of discovery. This was, in part, a vacation, as I have not had a chance to leave the confines of my Hollywood Hills headquarters in quite a while. But this was mostly an investigatory expedition. In short, it was an investivacation. And I believe what my investivacation has uncovered about McDonald's Pizza's past, present, and future may change the course of human history. In addition to our brief hiatus, you may also have noticed a new disclaimer at the beginning of this installment of the program. Unlike previous episodes, in which I deal only in hard facts confirmed by either multiple sources or a single source whose pedigree is unable to be pegged, this multi-part series contains information that simply cannot be verified by normal means. However, I believe that the proverbial seafood, rice, and vegetables of the evidence I am about to present will mingle with the metaphorical roux of your own common sense to create a figurative gumbo of new understanding vis-a-vis McDonald's Pizza. Please join me as I present Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's presents In Search of the Chamber of Secrets. Part 1. A Bridge to the Stars. On a recent installment of our sub-podcast, Please Explain How This Film Was Produced, I discussed with guest commentator the 99-Cent Comedian a film entitled Mac and Me. I was originally made aware of this film when researching instances of McDonald's restaurants playing popular music on their PA systems, as I have requested for my chart-climbing album Songs in the Pizza Slice. A scene in the movie features a choreographed dance sequence inside a McDonald's. The titular Me, who befriends the titular Mac, a juvenile extraterrestrial stranded on the planet of planet Earth, is persuaded to attend a birthday party at said McDonald's. But because shadowy government authorities are pursuing Mac for some sinister purpose, Me must disguise the alien in the hollowed-out husk of a teddy bear. Wearing the toy's skin, Mac is said to be a high-tech robotic contraption. It is a nearly foolproof disguise. But when the bearskin-wearing Mac begins dancing to the popular music played through the McDonald's PA system, he demonstrates a rhythmic and athletic talent beyond that achievable by an Earth-made robot. Thus, he attracts the attention of the shadowy government figures, who pursue Mac and Me through the desert. As a trained investigative journalist, I am fully capable of recognizing the difference between a fictional motion picture and objective reality. Mac was not really an extraterrestrial, but instead a combination of state-of-the-art puppetry and a short person dancing in a bearskin. The titular Me was not a real boy who befriended an alien, but was instead an adult actor made to appear child-sized through various special effects techniques. But something about this story rang true to me. According to famed psychologist Carl Jung, human beings draw their creative inspirations from an esoteric realm known as the collective unconscious. This could explain why many of us share the same recurring nightmares, such as finding yourself in your school or work without any clothes on, or being trapped inside your ramshackle office as it burns to the ground due to a fire caused by a stray bird. The collective unconscious may also explain why perfect strangers sometimes conjure remarkably similar tales. Consider the films Armageddon and Deep Impact. Both deal with the consequences of a meteor threatening to strike our planet. Could not this story be an echo of a memory shared by human beings since our mammalian ancestors survived the destruction of the dinosaurs? I posit that it could, in fact, not be not that. Similarly, the plot of Mac and Me resembles that of another film, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. They both depict a boy befriending a stranded alien, and in both stories, shadowy government figures come after them. In both Mac and Me and E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the protagonist has an older brother. And while the titular Me does not have a younger sister like E.T.'s Elliot, he does live next door to a young girl, who is the one who persuades him to attend the McDonald's dance party. The titular Mac is disguised as a robotic teddy bear, while the titular E.T. is disguised as a robotic bedsheet with eye holes in it. Some may say the similarities end with the aliens of Mac and Me becoming naturalized United States citizens, while E.T.'s compatriots fly into space at the end of the film. But there is no canonical E.T. the Extraterrestrial story that contradicts the idea that E.T. could have returned to America to become a citizen after studying various history and civics textbooks. In fact, it would have been prudent of him to do so. However, I cannot explain the discrepancy that E.T. enjoys Reese's Pieces, while the titular Mac enjoys the completely different spheroidal candy known as Skittles. Regardless, to be certain these stories could have sprung from the collective unconscious, I called upon the experts at the Carl Jung Center.
Hello, this is the Jung Center. How may I help you?
Hello, my name is Brian Thompson. I hear police sirens in the background. Is there an emergency?
No, there was just an ambulance passing by the center.
Oh, okay. I hope everything's okay. Anyway, my name is Brian Thompson, and I'm an investigative journalist, and I'm working on a story about Carl Jung, and specifically his theory of the collective unconscious. I was wondering if I might speak with a Carl Jung expert.
So we have many who are affiliated with the center, and if you are interested in contacting one of our local analysts directly, I would send you to our website where there is a directory of them with their phone numbers. Do you have the ability to access an online website?
Yes, I have a smart telephone device.
Great. Then there's a tab right in the middle called Find an Analyst. And if you just click that, we have a list of our analysts.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Take care.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye now.
I have concealed the identity of the Jungian psychologist with whom I spoke. As you will hear, he conveyed some startling information, and my subsequent findings have led me to believe the powers that be will do everything they can to smoke him out and punish him for his candor. More on that later. In the meantime, my conscience cannot abide someone suffering for being candid. So I have disguised the expert's voice to conceal his identity.
My name is Brian Thompson. I'm an investigative journalist. I was referred to you by the Jung Center. I was looking for an expert on Jungian theory. I'm researching a story about Carl Jung and specifically his theory of the collective unconscious, and I just wanted to ask a couple of questions about the collective unconscious. I'm investigating some connections between a couple of motion pictures. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. One is called E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yes, well, there's another motion picture called Mac and Me, which is slightly less well-known. It came out in the late 80s, and it has a very similar plot. And I was just wondering if, in your expert opinion, if two different screenwriters could come up with the same plot, unbeknownst to each other, if it was conjured from the collective unconscious.
Yes, I would say it would. I would say that these are collective themes. Carl Jung believed was that we, as humans, inherited certain things based on being humans. We inherited eyes, brains, noses, hearts, legs, feet. These are our inheritances as being a human being. That's on a physical level. But on a psychic level, we inherited the archetypes as humans. And archetypes are these patterns that are common to all common to all cultures. Like we all know the concept of a mother, or we all know the concept of a chair, or the trickster. These are archetypes, and they come from the collective unconscious. So, absolutely, two artists can come up with similar, if not the same ideas, because they are both tapped into the collective unconscious.
I see. So if we inherit these ideas, does that mean that these stories were somehow true in our distant past in a way?
Yeah, they're modern-day myths.
Well, both of these motion pictures are about a young boy who befriends a stranded alien on Earth. And I was just wondering if, according to Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconscious, if that means that this idea was passed down through generations and perhaps has its roots somewhere in the ancient human past. Specifically, I was wondering if perhaps Carl Jung would say that, yes, indeed, it is possible that in our distant human history, a human boy or adult befriended a stranded extraterrestrial.
Well, I'm not sure that it was exactly that he befriended a stranded extraterrestrial. But if you go back to Carl Jung's writing, there is an article called The Million-Year-Old Man, which is talking about Aboriginal times and the archetype of human beings going back a million years. If you also look at his book about flying saucers, so these are all examples of how he would say that these images are archetypal. They are in the collective psyche. They are things that we have seen over and over, and they play themselves out, myth after myth after myth. You know, you'll see a lot of Egyptian myths about the aliens or about extraterrestrials. This is not a new theme.
So somewhere in our past, possibly during the Egyptian Empire, there may have been contact with extraterrestrials, and that's why we're seeing these stories today. I think I understand.
No, I am saying that if you go back and you read some stuff about the Egyptians, there's stuff about there's stuff about extraterrestrials and aliens. I'm not saying that it's the reason these stories came about. I'm just saying there's just yet another example of a culture or a group having a similar theme.
Okay, so I think I have some good leads here. I think I'll read up on Egyptian civilization and their connections with extraterrestrials and see if I might be able to get to the bottom of these two stories.
Okay, and also look at his book, Million-Year-Old Man.
Okay, I'm writing this down. 1 million. Is that million spelled out like million, M-I-L-L?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a 1 with several zeros after? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, be well. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Quite a twisting story of discovery, would not you say? And here is another twist. Shortly before this episode aired, I attempted to distribute a suggested reading list for the In Search of the Chamber of Secrets series via our electronic mail newsletter. After I transmitted the missive in question, I received correspondence from MailChimp, the company that distributes said electronic mail newsletter, informing me that our account has been terminated due to unspecified violations of their terms of service. Suspicious, to say the least. Now you know why I must protect my sources at all costs. The metaphorical soup that is this plot is quickly getting soupier. Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's presents In Search of the Chamber of Secrets will continue next week. Today's episode of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's is brought to you by My Pillow. A man made a pillow and would like you to put your head on it. According to him, it feels very good. But please do not worry. Though the man made the pillow, it is yours to keep. Thus, the my in My Pillow is actually you. My pillow is your pillow, but not my actual pillow, just the My Pillow pillow. My Pillow. The man made it for you. Thank you for listening to Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, a proud part of the Pizza at McDonald's network. Do you know what happened to Pizza at McDonald's? Do you remember it? Please send all correspondence to pizzaatmcdonalds@gmail.com. Visit our attractive website at www.pizzaatmcdonalds.com. There you may sign up for our electronic mail newsletter, though if MailChimp does not reinstate our account within the next 24 hours, we may have to find an alternate means of distribution. You will also find links to our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages, as well as to our Teespring store, where you may purchase quality Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's merchandise. To provide financial support, visit patreon.com/pizzaatmcds, or to make a one-time donation, use our PayPal email address, pizzaatmcdonalds@gmail.com. I'm Brian Thompson.